Waros Tosa. I'm ready, you must be here.
Hey, and welcome back to Short Notice Horror. Today we're going to be talking about a movie that I've been looking forward to for quite a while. The film is called Frewaka. Now, this is an Irish language film that just appeared on Shudder this year, but had been doing the rounds on the festival circuit as the indie films tend to do. Shortly after the death of her estranged mother, Sue, a primary care nursing student, takes a placement in a remote Irish village to care for Peg, a reclusive elderly woman. A reclusive elderly woman who lives in fear, haunted by her experiences in a Catholic asylum. The house in the woods holds plenty of dark secrets, and Peg's paranoia begins to rub off on Sue, whose own troubled, abusive past begins to catch up with her. Written and directed by Aislinn Clarke, starring Bríd na Noctain and Claire Monaghy as the main two characters in the film, Bríd's playing the old lady Peg and Claire's playing Sue. They give really strong performances, very impressive performances, I thought. The ladies are great throughout the entirety of the film, with Bríd being at first having that sort of scepticism about anyone that comes around the house for obvious reasons that appear later. And Sue having that sort of hard exterior, but showing a vulnerability and a softness towards the lady who also, Peg, who also ends up thawing a bit towards Sue. We do find out again why that happens. As I say, a really strong character actor for both ladies, and with the film being in an Irish language and me being Irish, it was really to watch this film, and it was subtitled because even though we took Irish class in school, it's something that I've forgotten about, and I'm sort of embarrassed to say I forgot about a lot of it, but the film jogged a lot of my memory about Irish class, which was quite a revelation for me, and maybe it added more to my enjoyment being that from that part of the world. But I think with anyone with an interest in folklore and paganism is really going to enjoy the film, because it's a horror film first and foremost, where it's set and what language it's in is completely irrelevant. I know some people only like to watch English language films and don't enjoy subtitle films, but it's crazy if you don't. The amount of fantastic horror movies that you've been missing out on by not embracing other cultures and other language films is a bit daft, if you ask me. It's quite limiting, but personally that's one of the reasons that I enjoyed the film as much as I did. So it's a really cool setup. Once the main character gets there, I mean, she gets to the house, and initially, right away, something doesn't feel right. And in these sort of situations, there has to be that setup to give that feeling of unease, which the film certainly does. I mean, at first, to anyone from Ireland, it just seems like a normal country town, just that are spread all across Ireland. But like a lot of small towns and villages across Ireland, the folklore is still very much held on to. And this film really concentrates on specific folklore around loss and around death, and truly around what people do still believe to this day. It's quite a unique film, and it's difficult. Not that it's difficult, but obviously the natural comparison is going to be to things like The Wicker Man, which really doesn't do the film justice, because lots of different countries have their own types of folklore, and some of them do cross over and some of them are quite familiar, specifically for Ireland and for the British Isles in general, with paganism being part of the culture, the old culture that is still practiced a lot in some places in like England and Scotland and Wales, but in Ireland it is something that's still quite prolific and something that is still quite believed by a lot of the older generations. And it's a great thing. It's a great thing to concentrate on, because it really is a perfect setup for a horror film. How the director mixes it with modern sensibilities and something that you could believe existed in that particular place, in that particular part of the country, is fantastic. The atmosphere that's set up here by Sinead Clarke, who's the director, as I've mentioned, the atmosphere is great, but it isn't something that's necessarily set up through like creaky doors and noises at night. There are those types of things, and specifically, I'm not sure if it's an influence, but I did notice there was quite an Argento feel to this, particularly Suspiria, and I think maybe it's the intention. There are a lot of dreamlike qualities to it, and within the lighting as well, there's certainly a lot of nods to not Giallo, but Suspiria, I would say in particular. Possibly Inferno, but you know, those two films are like, they are what they are. I don't really think it's much of a revelation. Probably, I'd say maybe halfway through you'd have figured out exactly what's going on, but it's worth staying till the end because the story grips you, it really pulls you in. A particular note has to be made about the sound design. The sound design in the film is excellent. It's really effective, and it holds that atmosphere when it needs to. Even something as simple as just walking through the village, there's a constant design in the sound that it's slightly off, even though it seems like it's a normal rural setting. There's always something that's just slightly off. Not going into spoilers, but some people have said they've been disappointed in the ending, and I don't know if it's the ambiguity in the ending, because it is quite ambiguous towards the end, but the film does feed you enough through the story throughout to give you how the film ends. I mean, it's personally, I didn't find it ambiguous. I found it, well, this is exactly what's going on. The visuals really sell it. There is a slight lull in some of the scenes towards the end that I felt didn't need to be as long as they were. But, you know, who makes a perfect film? No one. And certainly it didn't bother me. The movie was really impressive, and it became probably maybe one of my favourite horror films of this year. Now, Oddity was my other film of the year, and certainly still has been. I haven't seen anything that has surpassed it until my review of Bring Her Back, but we'll come back to that because that's worth fucking seeing. Wow. But yeah, Frewaka, it's on Shudder now. I found it to be a great entry into the independent horror movies that have been released this year, and it's something unique, and again, it's something to step away from those types of big budget movies that have come out. Fucking Megan and Five Nights at Freddy's and all that fucking guff and nonsense. And this is definitely something that's worth your attention. Much like a lot of stuff that makes its way to Shudder, it is really worth investigating. It's worth looking at. There's a lot that isn't, but now and again gems come along, and it seems more and more that these gems are happening. So definitely check it out. Frewaka, it's worth your time. Thanks again for watching. I try to get them out as much as I can, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to keep making fucking excuses for it. And yeah, join us next time in Short Notice Horror, which will be Bring Her Back. Bring some fucking clean pants, that's what I say, because that movie's, whew. Thanks for watching.